A tiger in the zoo. This poem, what idea does it present if we go for the title? Yes, Archana beta.
Ma'am,
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 Yes.
I think that the title, "A Tiger in the Zoo," represents that the life of a tiger in the cages and in zoo,
Mm.
and it teaches humans that we should not keep anyone in cage if we are ourselves free and we don't like to be in cages.
Yes, very good, very good. Exact idea she has picked up, that the poet presents us the idea of freedom. That if we want to live in freedom, why we keep these animals in the cages or in the zoo, in the locks? Any other idea that comes in anyone else's mind? Yes, raise your hands quickly. Anyone having any idea, any other idea that comes? No? So let's read the poem and find out if we get any other idea, then we'll discuss it afterwards. Okay. So please look at the poem. This poem moves between two different settings. First, note down that the poem moves between two different settings. That is, one is of the zoo where a tiger has been captivated. उसको बंद करके लॉक करके पिंजरे के अंदर रखा जाता है. And the other is that of a forest, which is natural home of the animal. दो पिक्चर्स हमें प्रेजेंट की गई हैं इसमें पोएम में. वन इज ऑफ द जू where the tigers are kept for the visitors, for the people to be seen, and they are curtailed of their liberty. And the second one is the forest, that is the natural home of these animals, natural habitat. The motive behind is to show that the king of the wood, tiger, who is considered as the king of the wood, gets his comfort only in his natural habitat. कि जब वो अपने नेचुरल हैबिटेंट अपने प्रॉपर जो उसका एक्चुअल नेचुरल होम है फॉरेस्ट में होता है तो वो इतना कंफर्टेबल फील करता है. And when the tiger is in the cage, he always longs for his freedom because he is curtailed of his liberty, cannot move here and there. He is kept only in the cage. और जंगल में वो जहां मर्जी घूम सकता है, उसके पास खुली जगह होती है. Whereas in the cage, there is no space to move here and there. So he walks only in that area, whatever is in that cage. So the poem conveys a thoughtful situation or a message where the importance of the freedom of animals is raised. Keeping animals in cages in a zoo is not the solution to save the species. Rather, they survive better in their natural habitats. So the poet Leslie Norris has conveyed the message of keeping animals safe by not captivating, but by letting them breathe in free atmosphere and providing them with the conducive environment through this poem. So the poet wants us to be aware about the liberty and the freedom of these animals also. We should not curtail their liberty as we want to live in freedom. We want to enjoy our rights in the same way they also want to live in their natural habitat and enjoy their rights. So the poem, look at the lines given before the reading of the poem lines. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in the natural habitat. The poet moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. डिफरेंट स्टैंडर्स है, कुछ स्टैंडर्स जो हैं वो जू की लाइफ से रिलेटेड हैं, कुछ स्टैंडर्स जो हैं दे रेफर टू द लाइफ ऑफ द टाइगर इन द jungle. Now we will read the poem and we'll see about different stanzas, that which stanza is about the jungle life and which stanza tells us about the life of the tiger in the zoo. Look at the lines of the poem now. He stalks in his vivid stripes. See, in the very first word, the poet has used personification using he for the tiger. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Stalks means walks. In his vivid stripes means clear, visible lines. जो उसके टाइगर की आपने पिक्चर देखी हो तो उसके ऊपर लाइंस होती हैं, ब्राउन ब्लैक कलर की लाइंस होती हैं डिफरेंट. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज स्ट्राइप्स, लाइंस, डिफरेंट लाइंस. उसकी बहुत क्लियर उसकी जो लाइंस हैं stripes नजर आ रही हैं उसके body के ऊपर, and he is walking the few steps of his cage, and he could walk only few steps. See the use of the word the few steps. The few मतलब जितने पैर, जितने कदम वो उस केज के अंदर, पिंजरे के अंदर चल सकता था, बिकॉज देयर इज नो स्पेस. कितना बड़ा, बड़े से बड़ा पिंजरा भी होगा तो he would not have much space to walk. So he could walk, he could have the steps only that is available in the cage. He cannot move here and there on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. See the use of the word quiet twice in these two lines, putting stress on the point. On pads of velvet white. What does it tell? It's a metaphor used here. Pads of velvet. Pads means उसके पैर जो थे, उसके जो पंजे थे, उसके नीचे वाले पैरों का हिस्सा जो feet थे उसके, that were as soft as velvet cloth. Velvet का कपड़ा होता है ना, शनीली का कपड़ा, तो उसकी तरह soft थे उसके पैर. So his paws are compared with the velvet cloth. It's a metaphor used here. And he is quiet. Quiet here means silent. See the spellings, Q-U-I-E-T, not T-E. Quiet here means silent, very quiet, chupchap. In his quiet rage, rage means anger, gusse mein. He is in angry mood, but he cannot do anything. He is helpless because he is in the cage. That's why the quiet word is used. He's quiet because he knows this thing that he could not, cannot do anything. So helpless hai, that's why he is very much quiet. So what the poet has told in the very first line, that in the first stanza, that the tiger is walking with his clear striped body in the cage. He can take only the few steps, whatever is available, the space in the cage, and he is walking with his feet, which are soft, just like velvet, in a very quiet mood, in a very sad mood. Though he is angry, but he has controlled his anger because he is helpless. He knows that he cannot do anything. He cannot come out of that cage. He cannot move out, cannot enjoy his liberty. That's why he is angry, but he's quite helpless. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now, this is the picture of the forest given to us, that if this tiger had been in the forest, what would what would he have been doing there? कि अगर वो वहां पर होता तो वो वहां क्या कर रहा होता? That is the picture presented to us in the second stanza. He should be lurking in shadow. That in the forest, he should be lurking here means hiding in the shadow place, sliding through long grass, that is moving through the long grass. He must be hiding himself in the shadows of that long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. And he must be trying to hide himself through the long grass in the shadow near the water hole where the animals come for drinking water. Water hole here refers to a pool or a small river where the animals come for drinking water. And he where plump deer pass. And at that particular place, the plump deer, that means the young deer that passes from that way or moves away from that way, and the tiger must be hiding himself behind or through the long grass just to pounce upon or jump upon that young deer who was the target, जिसका वो प्रे था, एक विक्टिम होता है, PREY, प्रे, जिसको कि वो एक शिकार अपना बनाता है. तो क्या हमें एक पिक्चर प्रेजेंट की गई है कि अगर वो जंगल में होता तो वो अपने आप को लंबे लंबे घास के बीच में, शेडोज के बीच में छिपा कर इधर उधर मूव कर रहा होता, छिपा कर देख रहा होता कि कब यंग डियर जो है वो पानी पीने के लिए वहां पर आता और वो उसके ऊपर जंप कर जाता या उसको अपना शिकार बना लेता. सो दिस इज द picture of the freedom of the tiger given to us, that if he had been in the jungle, he should have been, he or he must have been hiding himself through the long grass in the shadowed area, moving here and there near the water hole where the animals come for drinking water, and he would have been waiting for the young deer to pass and jumping upon that. Then coming to the next stanza, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. And what other things, what other activities he would have been doing? He would have been snarling around. Snarling means growling. आवाज दहाड़ने की उसकी आवाज थी. Near the jungle edge, he should be snarling, or he would be doing this activity. Snarling means growling, or you can say उसकी जो roaring sound होती है टाइगर की must be roaring here and there around the houses at the jungle edge, कि जंगल के किनारे के पास, वो घरों के आसपास, उसके आसपास जो घर थे उसके आसपास वो दहाड़ रहा होता. Baring his white fangs, baring here means showing his white fangs means his white teeth, his claws उसके nails, जो पैरों के पंजे होते हैं उसके आगे nails होते हैं. And with that, what he had been doing? Terrorizing the village. He had been terrorizing the village people. He had been frightening the village people. कि वो क्या कर रहा होता? घरों के आसपास, जंगल के किनारे के पास जितने आसपास घर थे उनके पास खड़ा होकर वो बहुत ऊंचे ऊंचे दहाड़ रहा होता, अपने टीथ दिखाते हुए और अपने नेल्स, अपने पंजों के साथ ऊंची ऊंची आवाज में लोगों को डराते हुए, जो गांव के लोग थे, विलेजर्स थे, उनको डराते हुए वो अपने पावर का, अपने स्ट्रेंथ का लोगों को दिखा रहा होता. So in this way, if he had been in the forest, he would have been showing his strength by snarling around the houses at the jungle's edge, by growling or roaring near the jungle edge, and making the people of the village frightened by showing his white teeth and his claws means his nails. People of the village must be feeling very much frightened, उससे डर रहे होते. But he is locked in a concrete cell. See, coming to the next stanza starting with but. लेकिन अब situation क्या है? Now the situation is different. These two stanzas, second and third stanza, refers to his life in the forest, in jungle, what he would have been doing if he had been in the jungle. And in the fourth stanza now, again, we are coming back to his life in the cage, in the zoo. It says, but he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But now what he is doing now? He is in the zoo, in the cage now, and he's not able to show his strength, but he is locked in a concrete cell because he has been kept in the concrete means a cell or a cage that is made of concrete, cement वगैरह से, ईंटों से बना हुआ, बजरी से बना हुआ. Concrete is that material with which the houses are built. So the cage is also built of concrete. He is locked in the concrete cell. Yes, beta. What is the problem? You're raising hand, Devanshi. Devansh. Divya. Yes, beta. Any problem? Yes, Divya, beta. Unmute yourself and ask what you want to say. Divya, beta. Any problem?
मैम वो बाय मिस्टेक हो गया था रीजन.
Okay, you create disturbance, beta. Many times I tell you that you must ask your questions at the end. First, let me finish. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But what he is doing now in the cell, he is locked in the cemented cell. His strength behind bars, his strength, his power is behind the bars. Here, strength is giving you the meaning of his whole power. Whatever the strength, whatever the courage or guts he has, that is locked behind the bars because he is in the cage. Bars, सीखों के पीछे है वो, अब वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता. Stalking, लोगों को नहीं डरा सकता. अगर आएंगे भी लोग, stalking the length of his cage, and he is walking only in that space which is the length of the cage. सिर्फ उतने हिस्से में वो चल सकता है, वो घूम सकता है जो कि केज की लेंथ है, जितनी उस पिंजरे की लेंथ है. Ignoring visitors, and he is not looking towards the visitors because he cannot do anything, he cannot terrorize them, and the visitors are coming, they are just looking at him and moving from that place. So in this way, he is ignoring visitor. He is not looking at the visitors now, because he could not do anything, could not do any harm, could not frighten anyone. That is his characteristic, to terrorize the people. But here he cannot do anything. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. See the last stanza that gives the message of the poem, that he wants to have freedom. He desires freedom. And how it is presented in a very beautiful way by the poet. He hears the last voice at night while in the cage, in the jungle, in the zoo. He is listening only the last voice at night time, and that voice is of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars क्या होती हैं? You might have heard the word patrol, कि पुलिस patrolling पे है, गश्त पे है, जिसको हम कहते हैं. What does it mean? To go round an area at regular times to check that it is safe. कि जब पुलिस वाले इधर उधर राउंड ले रहे होते हैं ना चेकिंग के लिए, कि एवरीथिंग इज ऑल राइट, एवरीथिंग इज सेफ एंड साउंड, नो प्रॉब्लम इज देयर, किसी तरह की कोई गलत एक्टिविटी तो नहीं हो रही है, कुछ भी है, दैट इज पेट्रोलिंग. तो पुलिस जैसे गश्त पे होती है. एंड हियर पेट्रोलिंग कार्स आर द कार्स ऑफ द अथॉरिटीज ऑफ द दिस जू. जू के जो लोग हैं उनकी कारें जब इधर उधर सेफ्टी को चेक करने के लिए या सुरक्षा के सारे तरीकों को चेक करने के लिए घूम रही होती है, पेट्रोल कर रही होती है, that is the voice referred here. And he can listen only the sound of the patrolling cars at night. He cannot do anything because he is confined, he is locked in the cage, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars because he is helpless, he cannot do anything here. What does he do? He only stares with his brilliant eyes. His eyes are shown brilliant. And what does it show? That he has the desire, strong desire, at the brilliant star. Where he is looking at the brilliant stars that are shining in the sky. Note the use of the word brilliant here. It is the repetition given in the lines, and it is to put stress on the point that the tiger who has brilliant eyes, that means has a strong desire, very keen observation, to look here and there for his victim and for other things, cannot do anything now. And helplessly, he is just staring at the brilliant stars and thinking about the freedom which the stars enjoy. But he cannot enjoy. He is just again reminding us the same idea or the theme or the message of the poem which the poet wants to give through these lines, that he is looking with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars, just to show this thing that he also wants to enjoy the same freedom as the stars enjoy. The stars are roaming here and there without any restriction, but the tiger is restricted in the cage. The tiger is put in the lock and he cannot move anywhere. So this gives the helpless situation of the tiger. Again, the word brilliant puts stress on this point, and it is the contrasting phrase used: brilliant eyes, brilliant stars. His eyes are brilliant, but not free. He is not free. The stars are also brilliant, but they are free. Now, if we look at the poetic devices used in the very first line, I have told you the personification is there, starting with he. The poet has used he for the tiger, giving the human qualities. So personification is there. Then imagery is used when we read the first line. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Vivid stripes हमें क्या एक image present करता है, और टाइगर की एक पिक्चर हमारे सामने प्रेजेंट हो जाती है, विजुअलाइज कर सकते हैं हम एक पिक्चर. सो here imagery is used. Then pads of velvet, metaphor is used. Then see in the next line, the word used is quite rage. Quite rage here, which poetic device is used? It is called as oxymoron. Note down if it was not in the list. If it is there in the list, you might have read oxymoron. Oxymoron. This is oxymoron. What is oxymoron? Oxymoron is when a combination of words that have opposite and different meaning, दोनों words जो हैं जब opposite use किए जाते हैं, that is known as oxymoron. You can see in this word quite rage. Quite होता है बिल्कुल चुप होना, और rage means बहुत गुस्से में, और दोनों opposite word हो गए ना. This is known as oxymoron. O X, Y, M, O, R, O, N, oxymoron. Clear? Then we have in the next line again, second stanza, lurking in the shadow. Lurking in the shadow. This is again imagery used. We can visualize the picture of the tiger hiding behind the long grass under the shadow and waiting for its prey, waiting for its victim. Here. Then in the last two lines, near the water hole where plump deer pass, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. No punctuation mark is used in these three lines. At the end, full stop is there. Second and third line of the second stanza, no punctuation mark is used. So what is it called? It is known as enjambment. Enjambment. Enjambment is E-N-J-A-M-B. Enjambment. When we have continuation of the lines without any punctuation mark. Clear? Then coming to the here we can have in the last line plum and pass. Alliteration is also used here. Alliteration is also used. Here repetition of the sound P. This is used alliteration. Clear? Then coming to the next stanza, he should be snarling around houses. Snarling वर्ब जो है उसकी roaring sound जो है हमें एकदम से आवाज जो कानों में गूंजती है जब हम इस word को पढ़ते हैं, we can feel the sound of that word. और जब sounding words use किए जाते हैं जो कि हमें किसी तरीके की भी sound के बारे में बताते हैं, they are known as onomatopoeia. They are known as onomatopoeia. O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. This is known as onomatopoeia when we have the sounding words. किसी word को पढ़ने से हमारे एकदम से कानों में जो आवाज गूंजती है, हमें वो आवाज सुनाई देती है एकदम से, हम विजुअलाइज कर सकते हैं उस आवाज को, हम सुन सकते हैं एकदम से, इमेजिन कर सकते हैं. दैट इज onomatopoeia. ठीक है? देन कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट stanza, we have behind bars, again used as alliteration. Behind bars, again giving us alliteration. Here B sound is repeated. This is alliteration. Then coming to the next stanza, first word, he hears. He hears. Again, it gives you alliteration. Again, we have alliteration here. Clear? Then in the last two lines, we have the repetition of the word brilliant. Brilliant. In both lines, it is repeated, and this is used repetition to put stress or to give contrast of the ideas. Then there is one word, one new word that is used here, that is word strength. When one word is used for something whole, किसी पूरी चीज को represent करने के लिए एक single word को use किया जाता है. Here the word in the fourth stanza, second line, the word strength. Strength word is used here to show the whole power and the body of the tiger. So it is the figure of speech metonymy. This is known as metonymy. M-E-T-O-N-Y-M-Y. Metonymy. Strength word is used as metonymy. It's a figure of speech that consisting of the use of the name of one thing for that of another, of which it is associated. It is associated with the power and the body of the tiger. His strength behind bars. उसका body जो है वो, उसका शरीर जो है वो bars के पीछे है, सलाखों के पीछे है. Or you can say his power. It is talked about his power. So these are the different poetic devices used. Then you can find out the assonance also, the repetition of the sound, vowel sound in the last line of the third stanza. last line of the third stanza, terrorizing the village, barring his white, his आई की साउंड देखो इनमें रिपीट हो रही है, fangs and claws में again a sound is repeated, here o is repeated, I is repeated. So these are called as assonance when the vowel sound is repeated. Clear? So if we look at the rhyming scheme, it is giving us different rhyming scheme in all the stanzas. If we go for the first stanza, see the words stripes, quite, not rhyming, cage, rage rhyming. तो हम क्या लेंगे? Stripes के लिए हम use करेंगे a, and for cage b, you can use here b, for quite c, and again for rage b. So ये क्या हमारी rhyming scheme बन गई? Stripes different है, cage and rage, only two words are rhyming. A, B, C, B. Clear? A, B, C, B. Shadow, grass, hole, pass, only grass and pass, they rhyme. So in this way, you can find the rhyme scheme of the rest of the stanzas also. Clear? Yes. Anyone having any doubt, you can ask.